Oh my God, there was light behind you. Ah, there's a person. They left now. But there was one. I saw him.
The ghost.
It's spooky. Oh, Jesus. All right, come on. Oh, yeah. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Magical Talking Cat Podcast, the only podcast in the world that had that cat. That you hopefully, if you're watching the video, you saw there was a cat and now it's gone. Only podcast for that. I'm Tony.
I'm William, and this is episode 551.
I'm tired. All right. So, for those of you just joining us, we just recorded an episode from last week. Here's the other cat. And so this is our second one. So the bloom has fallen off the rose, as it were. We're lagging now. William's messing with his surgery wound or something.
Well, it's just, it's not comfortable against the shirt,
Have you been going around shirtless when you're not recording podcasts? That's insane. You're in your home, just you and your spouse, and it's uncomfortable, but you still insist on wearing a shirt. You crazy people.
Always.
For those of you just joining us, we have a hat. It's magic in there. It has its own email address, themagicaltalkinghat@gmail.com. And people write into that email address, themagicaltalkinghat@gmail.com. And the hat sends them on to us, and we read them and talk about them unless we don't want to. Like last week, which means just like 2 minutes ago. So we are doing this now because I won't be here when it's time to do this later. I will be in Oregon visiting my family and then spending 8 nights at a big old rental house in Newport. It's going to be really cool, doing very little. I think we will have an episode from there. So, because there's no real reason not to. Because again, we're just going to be hanging out, not doing anything. So I might, and I'll have my computer, so we'll do that. But yeah, it will literally be the day of travel, so I don't want to even try it then. What are you going to be doing during that time? We're not picking up the mic for some reason.
Damn. On
I got that.
my side, everything looks fine.
Yeah, no, I think it's the connection because we were getting bits and pieces. So I'm going to assume you said I'll still be healing.
Got doctor's appointments next week, but I also so just doctor's appointments. School doesn't start till the week following.
Okay.
So my
What
fourth
course?
week.
What courses are you going to take the next term?
It's an ethics course, and the other is theories in psychotherapy, which that's a course I've taken before, but I kind of look forward to taking it again.
And you need the ethics one.
Oh, sure,
you're a mess.
I know.
Villain. The butcher of Coralville, they call you.
That's what they call me.
I have no idea why, but I wanted to mention a couple things that I didn't mention last time about the week before. I read a book that I liked. I don't remember the author off the top of my head. It's the first in a trilogy, and it's called The Immortal Circus, or the Cirque du Immortel. and it was a fairly short book, and I found it interesting. It's by, I think, an accomplished author, and I enjoyed it very much. The writing was not super polished. Like, I have the ego to sort of compare it to my writing in a way, because I read a lot of stuff that like is by very like authors that have a lot of time under their belt, and their wordsmithing is just really, the wordsmithing here wasn't great, but the storytelling was very interesting, and it was still good. I mean, it wasn't like annoying bad or anything. There was just sentences that I'm like, that seems like a weird way to do that. And yeah, I don't think I have much to add to that, but yeah, it was very compelling because I finished it real fast, and now I'm going back to some and good old fashioned N.K. Jemisin. She had a duology called the Dream Blood series that I hadn't read because I read a short story of hers that was set in the same universe, and it didn't seem that interesting to me. But for some reason, I was prompted to now, and it's very cool. It's written in a like almost explicitly a fantasy version of Egypt. It is not Egypt. It is not Earth. It is a fantasy world with like a different number of moons and stuff, but it is very heavily based off of knowledge of certain uh, of Egypt and surrounding cultures. And in fact, she has a thing at the beginning talking about the difficulties of writing fantasy while still using real cultures, and like not wanting to offend, but also not wanting to just copy, and and especially the naming convention. She's like, if I accidentally created a name for somebody that translates to beloved of cheese, I apologize. But it is very fun to switch, and that whole thing of like storytelling versus wordsmithing, and you have, if you're really good at either of them, that's enough. And but it's also very noticeable, knock it out, when you go from one to the other, because I would say the author of The Immortal Circus, not a great wordsmith, very good storyteller. N.K. Jemisin, both, but her stories are also very sort of slow burn in a way, but that's okay because she has incredible wordsmithing, and so it's a pleasure to keep reading. But so it's funny to sort of go back and forth like that. Sorry, my cats are acting. Also, I'm making Trish watch found footage horror movies, and it's going better than I expected. It started as just like she'd be like, I'm done watching stuff, but she'd still be in the room and I'd watch some. But then she says she doesn't think found footage horror is for her, but it's the kind of season now where like we watch scarier movies. And I recently showed her my favorite found footage horror movie, Hell House LLC, and she actually really kind of liked it. Like, we talked about it afterward. Then last night I showed her another favorite of mine, Houses October Built, and she fell asleep. And I kind of didn't blame her. I've seen it multiple times, but for some reason I found it kind of boring this time too. But so it doesn't all work, but it's fun. It's fun to be getting her into that a little bit, or at least now she knows what I'm talking about, that kind of thing. We got a lot of scary movies on the way. Although we found this great list off of this YouTuber that was a bunch of Halloween movies, and I'd seen a bunch of them, and some of them I'd seen they were really bad, but I decided to grab one the other day called Hellfest that's on Netflix. And I was kind of excited because the credits are starting, and somebody who I know from back when they were on a basic cable TV show like has gotten into writing and stuff, and they helped make the screenplay for this, and I think they write good stuff, and I was very excited. It were crap. It were real bad. The only thing good about it is our main character and her love interest had remarkable chemistry, it's one of those, they're all like college kids, and like their friends are trying to get them together because they know they like each other, but they haven't admitted it, kind of thing. And watching the two of them hang out, they were adorable. So of course he's like the first one to be killed, because it's a slasher thing. But do not recommend. It sucks. Don't see it. Yeah, I just wanted to throw those out there. Should we question it up?
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right. So Beth. Oh, Alexa.
Beth.
She says
Twitter really, really wants me to follow her husband. Like, he is always like, Twitter always has like names you might want to follow, and there's 2 or 3 of them, and they change over time. His is always the first one. I don't really understand it. He follows me. That may be some of it. But Beth, what's your husband's Twitter game like? Is he worth following? Let me know on the blog, themagicaltalkinghat.com. All right, sorry, go ahead. Now you've frozen up, so it looks like you just are refusing to. Oh shit! Now it says not connected at all. That's not